Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. And today, this series, it finally comes to an end. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to everyone who has been a part of following along this series, this story, as we are now entering closer and closer to the end of Phase 2. Personally speaking, I have had a lot of fun writing this story, and when it gets down to it, you get a little sentimental when you reach an end of a series that you've been working on, because now, in a way, the story, it's now complete. There is no more Kill a Kill after this. There's nothing really to come back to, so the story is effectively done unless, we use these characters again down the line. So, all in all, I want to make this a fun send-off, a proper send-off to these group of characters before, the event of the Spider-Verse. And then after that, this series will effectively come to a close. But as always, thank you all for your support. Thank you all for watching. Like I always say, I can't do it without you. You make the channel grow. You make the core grow. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the series finale for Kill a Kill, The Web of Life, where Spider-Gwen was in Kill a Kill Part 10. As always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Ryuko, Satsuki, Hobi, Gwen, and Mako arrived to where the primordial life fiber was to finish the fight once and for all between Ryugo, as she now wielded her own weaponry, blades that were resilient to their weapons. As the battle on top of the primordial life fiber would begin, the spiders would move and attack from different angles all around Ryugo. She was able to fend them off, and she smiled happily as she had a chance to cross blades with these 5 unique specimens of everything that could have happened, of everything that could have come from what she had designed all those years ago. She never would have expected them, these beings, combinations of the spider and of life fiber. But in the end, it was almost poetic. When talking about beauty, what greater beauty could there be than a web that was spun by a spider? A web made in intricate detail and design, almost like clothing. These beings, these mutated humans, they had a power far greater than anything that they could have possibly realized. They had transcended humanity a long time ago. They had become something far more greater, something far more powerful, but they just didn't realize it. While they continued their battle, the members of the Elite 5 donned their brand new 3-star Goku uniforms in order to assist in the battle. Their plan was to cut down the primordial life fiber, using the Naked Soul battleship itself. It was the plan to launch it into the sky, working and acting as a giant dagger, to split through the fiber and cut it in half. The main point of the 5 battling against Ryugo was in order to distract her long enough for the plan to go into motion. And it worked. They thought it was a success. However, what they soon realized was that this was far from over. Ryugo was far from finished. No, on the contrary. Nue had finished the preparations, and she was now ready to become one. Nue transformed into the ultimate Kamui, Shinra Koketsu. And Rei, the secretary of Ryugo, would be used as the power source for this new Kamui. as Ryugo would now don her new suit of sorts. She invited for the 5 heroes to make another attempt that proved to be absolutely futile. Her Kamui was able to negate the effects of everyone else's life fibers, and she would use the power of her Kamui to revive the primordial life fiber. As she attempted to fuse it with everyone, the only person being immune was Ryuko, along with her Sinkets. As they were the only ones who were able to be immune, they would continue on in the fight, knocking Rei out of the Kamui, and thus cutting off Ryugo's power supply, allowing everyone else to be free from Ryugo's attack and to continue on in their battle, each one attempting to launch their own strike against Ryugo. Hobie would come in, guitar blazing, launching his sound wave attacks against Ryugo. Using his own body as the ultimate amp, he would strum his guitar, sending shockwave upon shockwave against Ryugo, knocking her down into the ground and creating a massive crater with each sound strike that he was able to emit. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I told you guys, music has the power to rock the world, and it has the power to save it. In the meanwhile, the members of the Elite 5 would also join in the attack, with Hobie using his sound waves to keep Ryugo on the ground. They would bombard her with every bit of their ability. Mako, using the mech spider, would shoot off anti-life fiber weaponry down into the crater also, and everyone else would pile on, using as much as they can of what they could get their hands on, trying to hold her down long enough until the primordial life fiber was destroyed. However, Nue would not allow this to happen, as she would fuse herself with the primordial life fiber, combining it with Ryugo and enabling her to launch her final attack, as she would go high into space and activate the satellite manually, and would begin to cover the world in the star seed cocoon sphere. Her plan was coming into motion. However, Ryuko would rise to meet her, as she used Sinket's absorbing ability to absorb the life fiber from the star seed cocoon sphere, as Sinkets was created for this very purpose, being the only thing capable of combating and destroying Shinra Koketsu, and finally eliminating all of the life fibers. She wouldn't be alone in this endeavor, as Satsuki, Mako, Hobie, and Gwen would back her up, all of them using their ability, the ability to absorb life fiber together. As they would continue on in their struggle against Ryugo, Ryugo would look down at the group as she yelled at them. "You impotent brats! Do you really think you've won? If just one life fiber leaves, if just one can escape this putrid planet, it doesn't matter how long it takes. One day it will return. You will no longer be here. You will no longer be this world's protectors. One way or another, you will all die." The 5 would stand in defiance of fate, in defiance of destiny, in defiance of letting their world be destroyed and consumed by life fibers, with all 5 of them uniting, empowering Sinkets. Sinkets, along with Ryuko, would continue the absorption against Shinra Koketsu before eliminating the life fibers for good. Ryugo would attempt to kill herself, ripping out her own heart and using it to disperse whatever life fibers remained. However, Sinkets would not allow that to happen. Ryuko was ready to join Senketsu, even if it meant the cost of her own life. However, that wasn't going to be the case. Senketsu would leave Ryuko. Ryuko now only having her base power. She would watch as Senketsu would fly off into the sky, absorbing all of the life fibers with him and taking them away. Senketsu, what are you? I'm afraid this is where we part ways, Ryuko. Only I have the power to defeat and destroy all of the life fibers. I'm taking them down with me. Wait, Senketsu, no, you can't. It'll be all right. I promise. This isn't going to be the end. But, Senketsu, get back here. We're a team, damn it. We're supposed to defeat them together. That's what we were supposed to. And we have. From the very beginning. You and I have always worked together. We are the bond that can't be broken. And as such, this will be proof of that. You will be proof of that. The power of life fibers. The power to wield and use them correctly. It lives on within you, within your friends, all of you. Ryuko would look to the sky, yelling for Senketsu to return. However, he grew farther and farther away. Senketsu would take the life fibers with him, taking them off to be absorbed and to be destroyed. With that, the battle had now come to an end. The world was now free to wear whatever clothing they wanted to, as Ryuko was left along with Hobie, Gwen, Satsuki, and Mako. All five of them would look on into the sky, the stars that now aligned them. Humanity was now free. The battling and the war, it was finally over, and it had come to an end. 2 weeks following the battle against Ryugo, a graduation ceremony would be held at Hinojin Academy. It was being held before the school would be shut down, simply because it served its purpose and now was no longer needed. It was made on an artificial island, so it was effectively about to sink to the ocean, so they all needed to get out of there as quickly as possible. With the graduation ceremony now held, though, as everyone prepared and took their leave, there was a lot of talk amongst the five about what they were going to do, their plans. Well, now that all of this had finally come to an end, Hobie couldn't help but remark that all of this was a lot more weirder now when they looked back at hindsight. What do you mean? Ryuko would ask as she bit into a lemon. Well, I mean, when you think about it, does no one else think that all of this was absolutely crazy? I mean, we just came here to figure out what happened to your dad. Who would have thought that there would have been some type of secret alien conspiracy with clothing? That's why you are foolish, little brother, Samugu would say. You should always be making sure to see the things that aren't clearly seen. That is the true mark of a warrior. Says the guy that just wants to run around naked. Shut up. So, what are you guys going to do now? Satsuki would ask. Well, it's been fun being here, but I'm thinking about going back to New York. You're going back to the United States, Satsuki would say. If she's going, I'm going, Ryuko would say. I want to go see the world. And besides, well, I don't really have a home here either. Well, if you guys are going, then I'm going also. You can't split up the transfers that easily. I'm going too! Mako would say as she jumped on them. You can't leave without me. I'm going with them also. I'm a part of the transfers. Okay. What about you, sis? Ryuko would say. You want to go see the United States also? I've been there a few times, but I would say living there would be entirely different. However, if you're offering, then yes, I'd love to go. As they were all walking off and making their way, as they passed an alley, Hobie found himself being pulled in by Satsuki as he was now pinned up against the wall. Hold on! Oh, whoa! What on earth is... You've been playing hard to get pretty long, haven't you, lover boy? Huh? Wait, hold on. Wait, what? I have to say, you're a very shrewd individual. The way that you've been pining after me all this time. Well, what can I say? You think you're pretty cool, don't you? Lady, I've been this cool the whole time. Satsuki would then kiss Hobie. As they were walking off, the others deciding to just let them have their moment, it couldn't help but be asked, though, why was Hobie so obsessed with Satsuki? Well, I'm glad you asked. Hi, I'm the author of this story, and I'm breaking the fourth wall, mainly because a lot of you fans have been wondering, why has Hobie been obsessed with Satsuki this whole time? Well, as you all know, Silk, from Marvel Comics, was bitten by the same radioactive spider that Peter Parker was bitten by, and when she was first introduced, it was revealed that she and Peter had a lot of, you could say, chemistry, meaning the two of them couldn't keep their hands off of one another. Now, you're probably thinking, well, if that's supposed to be the similar dynamic between Hobie and Satsuki, well, why doesn't Hobie feel the same way for Gwen, or for Mako, or for Ryuko? Well, that's because he views them in a brother-sister, well, liking and setting. So there's no romantic feelings or attachments. However, when he first met Satsuki, that was a different story. Because of the pheromone that Satsuki gave off, and because he never viewed her in that way or light, it caused him to fall madly in love with her. But not just that, Satsuki has actually had a thing for Hobie this entire time, but because of her mission in trying to defeat Ryugo, she had to keep her feelings suppressed and under wraps. It's actually been very stressful for her, and now that the fighting and the fate of the world is finally over, our two spiders are now free to be as much of lovers as they want to be, so you can imagine how steamy that's gonna get. Anyway, back to the story. Not too long after, Ryuko, Gwen, Hobie, Satsuki, Mako, and Mako's family would move to the Big Apple, New York. There, they continued on in their studies, everyone having their own field and education that they wanted to get. But it wasn't the end for our favorite band, the Transfers, who were finally getting their first gig. They were going to be playing out in a sold-out club. One that was big enough and popular enough where a lot of different people on the music scene liked to come through. The Transfers would play out to a sold-out crowd, rocking and dancing the night away entirely. But that wasn't the only thing they were doing. It didn't matter where you went in life. Crime, that was always afoot. And believe it or not, New York had some pretty shifty villains. Some villains that needed to be brought to justice. So, our 5 spider heroes took it upon themselves to become protectors of sorts. The 5 guardians of New York. The 5 spiders. The Transfers. Hobie Brown, Ryuko Matoi, Mako Mankansho, Satsuki Kiryoin, and Gwen Stacy. This is a story of 5 uniquely different individuals. 5 individuals that each came from different walks of life, joined together by family, friendship, and fighting the good fight. But for our heroes, this is not where their story ends. 6 months later, Gwen had crawled through the window after a night of going out on patrol. Ryuko followed close behind while Mako was getting ready to put away the spider mech. Thankfully, the apartment that they lived at, there was storage on the roof for her to hide it on, and she had ways of getting it out without being detected. Satsuki and Hobie were coming back from a date. Thankfully, the crime rates had gone down dramatically, so not everyone had to be on patrol at the same time. Of course, everyone was getting older, and soon the idea of moving out and doing your own thing was looming on the horizon. But for now, the 5 spider heroes were just sticking it out together. The transfers were getting more and more popularity, and they were even getting offers to be opening for some notorious and famous bands of sorts. It seemed like everything was on the up and up. In the middle of the apartment, though, a portal would suddenly open. Everyone's spider sense was now heightened as they all stood on guard waiting for what was going to come out. "You don't think it's Ryuko, do you?" Gwen would say. "No way. Sinket's totally destroyed her. There's no way she could still be alive." First to step out would be a old man, an old Japanese man, looked like a salaryman. "Oh, hi, who the hell are you?" Ryuko would say, as she pulled out her scissor blade and held it to the man's throat. "Oh, wait, please, I mean you no harm. You start talking and tell me where you came from, otherwise the head comes off." A web would then shoot at Ryuko's hand and throw her to the side, as stepping out next would be a man dressed in a well-tailored green suit, followed by another boy. They both appeared to be of Japanese descent of sorts. The young man at least looked like a Japanese schoolboy, and then there was someone else that stepped out wearing a spider suit. And then there was another boy who looked like he was from some random isekai adventure type anime or whatever. But the guy in the red and black, Gwen would look. He looked older, but... Peter? No. How are you? I know what you think. Really, I do. I don't know how to say this, but yes, I am Peter Parker, but before he could finish, Gwen would try to jump on him immediately, raining down as many punches as she possibly could. She had already been through this crap one time. She wasn't trying to go through it again. Fighting started to break out all throughout this apartment complex before finally they would all start to calm down. Satsuki demanding to know who these people were and where they had come from. "Who are you really?" "My name is Peter Parker. Well, not technically. I'm from another dimension." "Another dimension?" Hobie would say. "Like what? Is this some type of Saturday morning cartoon here? Another dimension? Are you serious? First we had to deal with alien clothing. Now we're talking about people from other dimensions. Okay, so let me get this straight. You're a Spider-Man from another dimension. And who are you?" "Your name's Kazuma Sato. I'll just show you." Kazuma transformed and grew shorter in size and more pig-like in a red and blue costume. They call me Spider-Ham in my world. Nice to meet you." "And you?" My name's Miyuki Shirogane. I'm Spider-Man from my world. Lloyd Forager. I'm Spider-Man from my world. I'm Ichiro Inuyashiki. I'm Spider-Man from my world. He would transform into his mechanized cyborg Spider-Man state. And I am Peter Parker. Well, technically I used to be Otto Octavius, but I'm in Peter Parker's body. So, wait. Octavius? Satsuki would say? You mean like Olivia Octavius? Oh, so I'm in one of those worlds then. Yeah, you could say that. And you guys? The four would transform into their spider costumes using their life fibers, while Mako would just point to the roof, everyone joining on the roof where Mako would reveal the mech spider. Wait, so she's like you, Ichiro? No, I don't pilot a mech. I am the mech. Well, anyway, I'm a part of this too, damn it. Okay, Ryuko would say. Why the hell are you guys here? I'm here because I'm trying to build an army. I need your help. The multiverse is being destroyed, and if we don't act soon, all of our worlds are in danger. In danger of who? Satsuki would ask. From a mad tyrant who comes from the future. A being who claims to be the master of time and space. He's gone by many names across many timelines. But there's only one name you need to remember. He calls himself Kang the Conqueror. This concludes Kill la Kill, The Web of Life. What if Spider-Gwen was in Kill la Kill, Part 10, the series finale. Thank you to everyone who has supported this series. Thank you to everyone who's been watching and following along from the very beginning. As I've always said, without you, you make the channel grow, you make the core grow. Anyway, with the Tuesday slot now being free, next week we're going to be moving things around just a little bit as we're trying to organize things up, as we're knocking down these final stories bit by bit. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for supporting. And as always, if you like today's video, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. But anyway, I'm Javon Harrington signing off, and I'll see you next time.